I am back, but today we're starting a different chapter. Oh, sorry, I gotta close my bedroom door. We're starting a different thing. It's a Todobakudeku omegaverse. I've read it before, and I'm still waiting for updates. So, yeah. This is a really good one by Spooky Bunny. Spooky Bunny is like amazing. I've read all three of her fanfics. They are amazing. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh God, sorry. No, stop it! Everyone has a soulmate somewhere in the world. But finding them is like finding a needle in a haystack. Most people went their whole lives without finding their soulmates, choosing to settle on someone else instead. Izuku Midori is having a normal day. Oh God. Okay, we gotta turn those off. Okay, let me... There we go. Okay, sorry guys, I just had to do that for a second. Izuku Midori is having a normal day when he starts to feel like he's coming down with something and faints at school. Upon waking up at the hospital, he's told he's presenting as an Omega. Katsuki Bakugo, knows he's destined to be one of the few to find his soulmate. He's been waiting for it for his entire life. But when he learns who his soulmate is, it isn't anything what he's been expecting. Shota Todoroki is willing to do almost anything to ensure he won't remain trapped under his father's thumb. So when a chance that seems too surreal to be true comes along, he's more than ready to jump at the chance to take it. Todobakudeku Soulmate Omegaverse Seiyu. If you don't know what the Omegaverse is, I'm not going to bother explaining it to you. Look it up. There's a lot of explanations online. Please, because you'll be left in the dark without this. 2 more fucking days until the weekend, Katsuki Bakugo thought, slamming the door of his dorm room behind him. He yawned, adjusting his backpack on his shoulder, and trudged down the 4th floor hallway of Class 1A's male dorms, heading for the stairs. He plodded down to the bottom of the stairwell, narrowed eye scanning the common area for members of Class 1A. God damn it, Katsuki hated this dorm thing. If it was bad enough that he had to see these extras 5 days a week. Now there was no fucking escape from it at all. No one else was sitting on the sofas. Just a group of boys in class looked like they had just finished breakfast and were making their way out of the dormitory. Good. The less idiots he had to be around, the less idiots he had to be around before he was adequately caffeinated, the better. Maybe he'd be able to get a few minutes of quiet before he had to face a full 8 hours trapped with the other members of his class. Sorry guys, I'm having a little bit of trouble reading. I'm not dyslexic, by the way. It's just I have to read fast or else YouTube will get after me, because the video would be too long. Hey Bakugo, Katsuki cringed. His hopes of having a moment of fucking peace before classes started shattered, pierced by the sound of Shitty Hair's upbeat voice. Kirishima could be seen in the kitchen now, waving him over with his usual grin plastered on his face. The blonde sighed as he walked into the kitchen. He had to eat eventually, he reasoned. Morning, he muttered, plopping his bag onto the floor next to an empty chair. He was about to grab himself some cereal that was kept in the kitchen cabinets, but suddenly Kirishima placed a big plate of toast, bacon, eggs, along with a cup of coffee on the table in front of him. That sounds absolutely delicious. I wish I had that for breakfast every morning. I saved you some, he said, still smiling. He sat down on the other side of his table, looking expectantly at his explosive friend. Katsuki reluctantly sat down across from him, eyeing the food with worry. It was so suspicious to see the other alpha acting so domestic and willingly serving him breakfast, especially an alpha wrapped up in being a man or whatever. He knew he couldn't be without ulterior motives. Okay, guys, I have to plug in my phone, sorry. You'll see something for a few seconds and that's it. He glanced outside through the windows. He could just make out the backs of the boys who had just left. The second he spotted a certain blonde Omega talking to Zero, he rolled his eyes. There was the ulterior motive right there. He should have fucking known. What are you, my mate? Katsuki asked, grabbing a fork. What happened to being manly? Kirishima chuckled, rubbing the back of his head. I just made breakfast for anyone who was down here, not just you. Sure he did, Katsuki thought sarcastically. God, this fucker was in deep. He'd been trying to get Kaminari to notice him for months now, but it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. This whole cooking breakfast thing was clearly trying to impress the Omega boy. It was lame. It seemed like a waste of time. Cooking is totally manly. There's fire and knives involved, Kirishima continued. Katsuki started shoveling breakfast in his mouth. He was starving. At least the food was good. He hadn't had to make it all himself. Maybe the day wasn't going to be too bad after all. I don't know why you're bothering with Kaminari, Katsuki said. He's not your soulmate. Kirishima leaned back in his chair with his arms crossed. I mean, yeah, but that's normal. Most people don't find their soulmates after all. They could be anywhere out there. Just about everyone had a soulmate, but somewhere out there, but only a slim percentage of the population ever found them. Two soulmates could live their whole lives on other sides of the earth, never meeting one another. Sorry, guys. Well, I never settle for anything less, Katsuki said heatedly, grabbing his coffee. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just a little tired. I know it's 8, and usually this used to be my bedtime until, it got down to, 11. So, Katsuki Bakudo didn't do anything by halves. If he was going to someday, it was going to be his soulmate. Anything less than that wasn't worth his fucking time. Can't believe you made this all yourself, Katsuki said over a mouthful of food. Oh, I didn't, Kirishima said. Midoriya helped me out. Katsuki nearly spit his food out all over the table. Just great. No sooner had he just been thinking that the day wasn't off to a bad start. It turns out fucking Deku had been handling his food. Gross. Hey, chill out, man, Kirishima said, concerned. You'll choke. He bet that was just what Deku wanted, Katsuki to choke, or maybe he wanted him to lose his appetite. Maybe he knew he wouldn't want to eat the food he touched, and was hoping that Katsuki would be off his game for the rest of the day as a result. Well, he'd show that damn nerd. Okay, guys, I'm getting sluggish, so I'll make a second part. Bye.